Today I am playing an absolutely adorable game called Slime Rancher 2, and I'm playing for one entire month. Slime Rancher 2 is a direct sequel from the first Slime Rancher, and it's a game that I've just grown to adore over the years. It's kind of like Pokemon. You exploit these little creatures for personal gain, but you think they like it, but aren't quite sure. Well, anyways, I played this delightfully cheery game for 1 month, or in this case, 30 in-game days, with, of course, a few goals in mind that I wanted to accomplish within this time frame. I want to collect at least 10 different slimes, and I want to create at least 6 different Largo slimes. I would like to fully upgrade my jetpack, unlock at least 2 expansion plots on my farm, and finally, I want to start preparing for the chicken uprising. What's the chicken uprising, you ask? Well, you'll know when you see it. Now that I have my goals set, let's go ahead and dive right into Slime Rancher 2. Our journey starts with Beatrix relaxing after a hard day's work on her slime ranch. Beatrix is the main character from the first game, FYI, and a boat with no one in it pulls up to the docks with nothing but a letter inside. The letter is addressed to Beatrix and states that she should go on a new adventure to leave the far, far range and explore a new land called Rainbow Island. And just like that, we decided to listen to this mystic, unsigned letter from who the heck knows, abandon our previous ranch along with all of our slimes in their corrals with no one to take care of them or let them out of their tiny prisons, and move on to new pastures. I'm sure they'll be fine. Everything seems to be in place for us already on this new island. How convenient. All right, let's start exploring. I am so excited. Right away, I was able to catch my first slime, which is the ever so common pink slime. Very cute and simplistic little guys. I tossed these little dudes into the first corral on my farm, getting them prepped and ready to produce valuable resources that I can sell and then use to my advantage so I can become rich. I also found my first chickadee. Look at his little face, it's so cute. I adore birds and chickens, and just having these little guys around simply to become a food source hurts my soul more than you can imagine. Maybe you guys can chill with these slimes until I find a place for you. Actually, never mind. I forgot the pink slimes eat everything. You are not safe here, chickies. Oh my god, see what I mean? They're already tenderizing them. Before I grabbed the chicks out of the corral, I wanted to see what other chickens were around my home base, and I found a roostro, picked that guy up, and while vacuuming up the little chicks again, I accidentally shot the roostro out instead of the pink slime. Oh wait, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Off to a soul-crushing start for me personally, but we'll take that chicken sacrifice and go cash in our first plort for some new bucks, which is the currency in this game. I then went exploring in the first little area of Rainbow Island outside of the conservatory called Rainbow Fields and grabbed quite a few more of the pink slimes to bring back with me. I also found some carrots and pogo fruit, which is lovely because now I don't have to feed the slimes chickens. I also found one of the new slimes for this game, which is a bunny slime named the Cotton Slime. How freaking adorable are they? So cute. I grabbed a few of the cotton slimes to take back with me and found my first little bit of lore for the game. Our first letter, a bit ominous, I'd say. Not sure who Gigi is, but I'm sure we'll figure that out as the story gets told. I also found a map of Rainbow Fields, unlocking one section of the map, which is great as it will help me navigate my surroundings better as I explore and unlock more areas. I made my way back to the conservatory, fed my little pink slime some fruit and veggies to start more plort production, and sold those pink plorts so that I could upgrade the corral with high walls, preventing them from escaping so easily. I played the first game These slimes are escape artists through and through. I then answered the video call I received while I was out from Victor, who is a slime scientist from the first game. He checked in to say hi and to let us know that an AI was sending him coded messages and that the messages were coming from my location. In my opinion, that's never a good sign. Before signing off, he also gave me a blueprint for a yellow home portal, which will become quite handy once I'm able to craft it. From there, I decided to vacuum up my pink slimes and place my cotton slimes into the corral in order to get some more high-selling valuable plorts. I sold those plorts and made my way downstairs where I discovered the fabricator, which will allow me to craft upgrades and gadgets, and the refinery where I store plorts and resources to use for said crafting. Around the corner, I found one of the expansion plots I'll need to unlock in the future for more slimes, and from there, I decided to go explore rainbow fields at night to see what I could find. And I found another new slime, a cute little firefly type of slime called the phosphor slime. So I definitely want to try and wrangle a few of these little guys, but not at this time because I have no idea where to put them currently. I went around collecting a few plorts out in the wild because right now, I need funds. Also encountered my first tar slimes, which happens when a Largo slime, which is a hybrid of two slimes combined, eats a plort that it does not produce. It's just the natural order of things, I suppose, but at the same time, I hate them. While exploring on my way back to home base, I found my first resource, which I'm not able to collect yet, and a shortcut through the lab area from outside. I sold the plorts I collected in Rainbow Fields and from my new little bunny friends, and bought a new corral so that I can have even more slimes on my farm. I decided to toss the rest of the pink slimes back into the wild as I don't need them right now, and explored my surroundings a bit more, finding another fruit, the Q-berry. I also found my first treasure sphere, which contained a blueprint for a hydro turret used to destroy the tar slimes. You're in my way, little guy. Oh. I'm sure he's fine. Oh my god, they're just offing themselves. There goes another one. I also found my first Gordo, the Phosphor Gordo. These slimes are cute giant slimes that usually block important areas you need to access, but basically you need to feed them until they explode into oblivion. A very humane way to deal with a slime problem. Back at the base, I fed my cute little pink and cottontail slimes some carrots to get more plorts to cash in for more new bucks. And yes, I know the plort market fluctuates and each plort is worth less the more you sell it, and you should wait until the price is up to sell it and so on. But at the beginning of the game, I don't care much about that as I'm mainly focused on setting foundations first. I used my new funds to upgrade the second corral with high walls, ensuring it will be harder for these guys to escape and cause utter havoc. Back to exploring Rainbow Fields I go, and I found some chicken family roaming around, and I took the initiative to save them all and bring them back home. They can safely roam freely in the conservatory until I build them a pen. This thing is like a freaking cannon. I'm sure she's fine. I then found my second Gordo in the wild, this time the cute little cotton Gordo. I found a carrot nearby, so I fed him so that he would show up on the map, and also found a new veggie, water lettuce, so I also stuffed those in his mouth. I came across one of those little smashable treasure spear things, and it rewarded me with 50 new bucks and a stony hen. So cute. I then found a refinery link that sends any resources and plorts I deposit directly to my refinery at the conservatory, which can be really helpful. And oh my gosh, I found my first of the cute little kitty slimes bouncing about, called the tabby slimes. Right next to the little fur ball, we came across our next research drone, which kind of just explains how useful this refinery link is and how it's efficient. I then made my way back to this little beachy area, which doesn't have much here at the moment, but I did find some cute chickens that were safely nestled on top of this rock, who then decided that they wanted to tempt the fates and leave their safe little sanctuary. Nearby, I found another map on a ledge and gathered a few more tabby slimes before heading back home. I safely placed the stone hens into the conservatory and cached in the 17 cotton plorts I gathered in the wild. From there, I fed a few of my cottontail slimes, gathered their plorts, and used said plorts to turn my little pink slimes into pink/cotton largo hybrids, essentially freeing up another pen for my tabby slimes. They are so cute looking. I then added an air net to this corral because I do not trust them at all. They will escape if I don't add one and eat all of my chickens. So sadly, I don't need the regular bunny slimes at this moment since the tabbies will go in here for now. We also received a new call from Mochi, who is a slime rancher from the first game, who called to check in and say hello, gave me a refinery link blueprint, and also let us know she's checking out the island as well because the island's creeping her out too. Good to know that both of my communications have told me this island is giving them mega weird vibes. Makes me feel totally safe. I let the cotton slimes free, grabbed some more food and a few of the phosphor slimes because I'm gonna need them here in a bit. I'm sorry, little guys, but sometimes sacrifices need to be made for the greater good. God, it hurts my soul. 2? Oh, how did 2 get out? No freaking way. Now you understand why I mentioned how important air nets and high walls are. So for safety reasons, I took 4 of the tabby slimes out, leaving only 5, and sent them on their way. I know this seems mean, but I promise they'll be fine. I need to get an air net as soon as possible though, so I went to gather some more fruits and veggies to feed my slimes so I can earn more new bucks. It's crazy how insanely scary and violent this scene looks. Okay, time to go. I sacrificed 2 more chickens and fed my pink slimes in order to earn enough to buy an air net, but changed my mind last minute to buy a solar shield so that I can use this pen for the phosphor slimes. So I took the tabbies out, added the phosphor slimes, fed them, vacuumed their plorts, took them back out, added the tabbies back into the corral, fed them the phosphor plorts, and would you look at that? Another cute hybrid abomination. They're really, really cute, but I'll need that air net because these new slimes can both bounce and fly. I honestly was rethinking the decision I just made, but after selling the available plorts my slimes produced, I was able to purchase that air net rather quickly so I don't have to have a panic attack next time I leave the base. I no longer needed the rest of my phosphor slimes, so I let them roam the open sea. They'll be fine. From there, I purchased a garden plot so that I can grow some fruits and veggies and easily feed my slimes, and I decided to start with growing the pogo fruit. I made my way back to the fields, gathered more food, and fed the cotton slime Gordo enough food to make him pop. Doing so unlocked a tunnel which took me to a different part of the beachy cliff area where I was able to unlock a cool looking portal. I'll go find that portal entrance in just a bit, but for now I made my way back home to feed my slimes. I used my plort money I made to purchase another garden plot, this time growing water lettuce. Now I have 1 fruit and 1 veggie growing on my little slime farm. I'm quite happy with the progress I've made so far. From there, I decided to go locate the newly opened portal in the little beach cove area, and I must say it's quite pretty to look at up close. It led me to a new area of the map called the Starlight Strand, which is also so pretty. I love the environments in this game. I found a door where you need the corresponding plort from the statue to open the passageway, and in this case it looks like it's a honey plort, which means there must be some honey slimes nearby. I then located another research drone, another ominous message from the mysterious Gigi talking about prisma waves affecting the island, making the seasons and environment react at different paces. Interesting stuff. I then came across my next new slime, which was the rock slime. These cuties can actually hurt you, but they're still adorable. Also found a hunter slime in the form of a largo, but not in the way I was hoping. A lot of angry big fellows in this area. After escaping from those guys, the next area contained honey slimes. I love the honey slimes. They are just so adorable. And then the third new slime, which is the angler slime, also a freaking little cutie. Don't look at me like that. I didn't know he was a meat eater. Also found another cute chicken. Looks more like a seagull, but I'm in love with them already. I picked up a few angler plorts. Witness more carnage. Nope. And made my way back to Rainbow Island. As I was getting lost on the map, I found the pink Gordo hiding nearby and gave him a carrot. I made my way back home, purchased a new corral, and put my new rock slimes in there. I then collected and cashed in all my glorious plorts, fed my honey slimes, the rock plorts, to get some new largos on my farm, and upgraded the new corral with high walls. Once I fed these new hybrid slimes and cashed in their plorts, I was able to upgrade this corral one more time with the air net. I feel like I've done quite a lot so far, but I really want to upgrade these corrals with the auto collectors and auto feeders, so that is my next goal before bringing more slimes back to the farm. Off into the sunset you go, little dudes. They'll be fine. I purchased one more garden plot to grow carrots and got another message, this time from Ogden, a slime rancher who is more of a farmer, also from the first game. He sent a friendly message and asks us to let him know about any new fruits or veggies we find. He also provides us with a blueprint for a water tap. I'll explore all the blueprints and crafting soon enough. I took a look at the Slimepedia, just taking in some of the info, and it's comforting to see that, in fact, the slimes will be fine when thrown into the sea. They use it as a means of fast travel, at least that's what everyone believes. So I'm not evil by throwing them in. But humans and chickens can't survive falling in, so the chickens are still ending it all when they plop themselves in there. I added my first plort to the refinery, which is a storage area of sorts where you deposit resources to craft and upgrade items. After collecting and selling a few more plorts from my slimes, I was able to upgrade my first corral with a port collector, which will vacuum up all the plorts, making it faster, easier, and safer for me to collect them. My garden produced a good amount of pogo fruits, so I picked those and threw a few inside the corrals before heading back out. I wanted to be resourceful, so I figured it would be smart to go and round up some of the plorts out in the wild to cash in for some more new bucks. I need those upgrades immediately, okay? And if I don't pick them up, these single brain-celled cuties will just eat them and turn into glob monsters, so honestly, I'm doing everyone a favor here. Well, at least now I know that they'll be fine. I collected quite a few plorts throughout the night and had to make my way back home through the chaos that I predicted would happen. Amazing what eating the wrong type of poop can do to a creature. I cashed in all of the plorts I just collected in the wild and upgraded a second corral with a plort collector as well. I used those glorious plort collectors to collect my hard-earned plorts from my little slime babies and also cash them in, allowing me to repeat the cycle and add the final plort collector to the third corral on my farm. Slime ranching just became a bit easier. After one final stop at the plort market, I stared at this chicken going absolutely nowhere, but looking adorable while doing so, and headed back outside and made my way towards Starlight Strand once again. While on my way, I ran into the lucky cat slime, and I absolutely forget how you get money from the slime, and it is going to frustrate me a lot during this playthrough. Back in Starlight Strand, I gathered a few fruits to take back home and found another door, this time requiring a rock plort. So I found a single rock plort lying around and opened the passageway. I found a treasure sphere, which granted me a storage cell for upgrading my equipment, and the passageway led nowhere. I needed to open the door on the other side, which I'm now assuming is just a shortcut. A little bit of a bummer. I made my way to the beach part of the strand and just wandered a bit, trying to get a feel for the place. Oh my god, that sounded horrendous. Friggin' little monsters. I came back to the honey plort door to open her up because I had a honey plort on me and it was just the backside of the previous tunnel I opened up. So that shortcut is now open and primed for usage. I gathered a few more plorts and found a new fruit, the mint mango, which just sounds divine, I must say. I also found my first piece of the map for Starlight Strand, so I feel like I've made a little bit of progress. I headed back towards home and was notified that the current weather outside was pollen heavy. Don't know if that will affect my surroundings or not, but the description made me giggle. I then made my way back to the Phosphor Gordo and fed him a few of my Q-berries, and it was enough to make him pop, which exposed a passageway that led to another secret door. This time I needed a tabby plort to open the door, so I'll do that in a bit after I drop everything off at the conservatory. I purchased 2 garden plots and planted a Q-berry tree and a mint mango tree in each, and went to check out the new message I received from Victor. He told me that he cracked the AI's message, which was quite advanced and alien in nature, and it simply said, "Hello." Even alien AIs get lonely sometimes, it seems. Victor then received another message after cracking the first one and was going to work on deciphering it, so we'll leave him to it. From there, I cashed in the cotton and honey plorts I picked up outdoors, gathered fruit and veggies from my gardens to feed my slimes, and then collected their plorts to also cash in for more money. It's an endless cycle. I use these new funds to upgrade my 3 corrals with auto feeders, making life much simpler and ensuring my produce won't rot as fast. I deposited 10 phosphor and tabby slimes into the refinery because I haven't really done that yet, and I really need to remember to do so as I desperately need the storage and jetpack upgrades. But the jetpack requires radiant ore, which is a resource around the island, and currently I'm not able to collect those with my current suction power, which means I first need the resource harvester upgrade, so I'm going to work on obtaining that as soon as possible. In the meantime, I went back out to collect more plorts to use for upgrades, and I came across another treasure sphere hidden in a cave where I found a useful item, a power chip. This will allow me to upgrade my equipment, so it was a wonderful find. I came across another area that seems important. It had a tall structure in the middle, so I'm going to assume this will be another portal leading to a new island in the future, which is really exciting. Near that tower, I found yet another treasure sphere, which just contained a blueprint for trees. Not as exciting, but still cool. I made my way back home with my plort stash and threw it all in the refinery for upgrades, though I still needed a few more new bucks to buy my first upgrade, so I went around feeding all my slimes and gathered all their plorts to sell, allowing me to buy my first upgrade, which is the resource harvester. I also upgraded my tank booster, allowing me to hold 30 of each item instead of 20, as that seemed like the most useful upgrade available to me at the moment. All right, we're getting somewhere, guys. I was notified that I received a new message, another message from Victor, who gave me a blueprint for a med station, tables, and chairs. Once I get my farm up and running efficiently, I'll focus more on decorating, but I'd rather use my resources more wisely in the beginning, you know? Well, now that I'm able to grab resources, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Why? Why do they keep jumping off the cliffs? I picked up some deep brine, which is like saltwater, jellystone, which I don't know, it's solidified jelly probably, and made my way back home through a trail of carnage and chaos. Also decided to sleep because I've been up for like 6 days straight and I'm curious if it does anything at all. It doesn't, at least from what I can tell. I checked my messages and I received another gift from Victor, a large pinwheel. It's kind of cute. All right, let's take care of business. I placed all my new resources in the refinery, safely added another hen to my beautiful abode, nurtured my slime babies, and collected their plorts to add more materials to the refinery. My next mission was to feed the giant pink slime, but while I was collecting food for that, I found a gold plort just laying on the ground. That's so incredibly lucky because gold slimes are really, really rare and hard to find. After gathering a good amount of fruits and veggies, I made my way over to the big pink fella and made him pop, revealing a geyser which I could ride up to the cliffs above. There, I found a device, and when I activated it, it lowered the structure I found the other day, revealing a portal. I totally predicted that would happen. So let's go ahead and check it out. Our next new area is called Ember Valley, and it is gorgeous. The colors are so pretty, and it kind of has an autumn vibe with the blue twilight filter on top of it, and I dig it. Wandering around, I found another research drone from Gigi, which was a cute little entry about how they liked to ride up in the geysers when they were young. I'm looking forward to learning more about Gigi and the deeper story going on in this cute little game. I took one of the geysers for a little ride and reached my first map piece, and I suspect Ember Valley is going to be quite large. I also found some radiant ore, a pretty rainbow mineral, and primordial oil, which, as you may have guessed it, is oil. In a cave nearby, I found 3 new slimes, a crystal slime, the bat slime, and the boom slime. Aren't these destructive munchkins just so adorable? You are not safe here, little dude. Is it in their DNA to run towards predators? There isn't much else I can really do around here at the moment without a jetpack, since most areas are out of reach. So I grabbed a few more radiant ores and headed back towards the portal. The new weather I came home to was rainy and stormy with a chance of lightning strikes. And honestly, I did not think much about that at all. I thought the lightning would happen off in the distance, but we'll come back to that later. I used the refinery link for the first time, and it made me think about how handy this actually is and how I should craft a bunch and place them all over, but I won't. I never do things that make my gameplay easier. It's just how I am. I finally had enough materials to purchase a jetpack, but I didn't have enough new bucks, so I cashed in my gold plort like a fool instead of putting it in the refinery like I should have. I gathered more plorts and cashed them in. It's so satisfying. And I had enough to buy my glorious jetpack. Now I can traverse the islands like a Slime Rancher pro. I also added a water tank so I can duke it out with the tar slimes the next time they feel like starting something with me. And finally, I added a heart module that adds a bit more health to my health bar and a power core to add more energy to my energy bar. Upgrades everywhere you look. I received 2 more messages at the comm station. First one was from Mochi, and she was commenting on how the drones on the island were freaking her out, and that they also seem alien in nature to her, but at the same time super familiar to her personally. The next message was from Thora, a slime rancher who has lived on the far range for quite some time and is the love interest of Hobson, the slime rancher who owned the ranch we occupied in the first game. She's super sweet and I just adore her character, and she just chimed in to say hello and gave me a taming bell. I'm gonna fill up my slime's food stash really quickly before we head back out to explore a bit more of the Twilight Strand. I stocked up on water just in case I need to go to battle with some grumpy slimes, and went to explore a bit more, looking for new slimes and resources. One new path led me to a treasure sphere that contained an item that was calling out my name. Off you go! She'll be fine. I found another cute alien drone, this one teasing that the giant mushrooms contained a big secret that Gigi won't disclose. So not cool. Hanging off of one of these nearby mushrooms was a beehive where I gathered my next new resource, beeswax. Kind of self-explanatory. I also found silky sand near a beach area, which is also self-explanatory. I found yet another door that needed a rock plort to open the passageway, so I'll have to come back later. But more importantly, I found the cute Gordo butterfly slime in the distance, so I know the little regular ones have to be nearby. How freaking cute! Nectar? Where the heck do I find nectar? So now I need to track down yet another food source, but my annoyance went away after I saw this pretty looking rainbow light shining through behind the Gordo slime, but led to nowhere as suspected. I also found the puddle slimes. The puddle slimes were one of my favorite slimes from the previous game. I just love the cute little noises they make, and they also blush. They're just cute little babies, and I just want to protect them. Yet another treasure sphere was found while looking for resources, thanks to my trusty jetpack. And I found another research drone. This log was Gigi talking about how he or she would jog along this path in the morning and would enjoy watching the sunsets here, but also reminisced about the time a ringtail slime robbed them, which is pretty funny. Also, finally ran into the regular size butterfly slimes. They're precious, absolutely precious, and I love them already. Nectar! Where did you come from? The blue flowers. Well, collecting this is going to be fun. Nectar seems to be more rare than the other food sources, and if it drops at the floor before I can collect it, the other slimes will eat it, so it's probably going to take a while to feed the Gordo slime, but that's okay. There's tons of other stuff to do in the meantime. I must say, for how messed up this whole scenario is, it was also pretty fun, and when they explode, it's a rather beautiful and colorful sight to behold. I also had a bit of a freak out because I fell down this huge hole and I thought I was a goner, but instead it led me to the angler Gordo, so lucky me, I guess. I fed him a few of the sea hens nearby. I know, just awful experience all around. Next treasure sphere was found near a cool giant tree and contained an important upgrade item. On that tree, I also found more nectar, which made me extremely happy. And we found our third Gordo slime, which is the honey Gordo. I've just been spotting these guys left and right. I'll be back to feed him in the future, but nearby I spotted yet another drone from Gigi. They were talking about how they have had a hard time recalling certain memories, but the white noise of the island helps to keep their mind clear and focused. Obviously, something happened with this character, as it seems they are trying to run away from something traumatic or sad that happened in their past. At least that's what I'm assuming so far. From there, I decided to head back towards the portal and found one last treasure sphere above said portal. How cute. And I spotted another piece of the map from the same area. I'm not sure how big this area is, but I know I have yet to unlock the whole map for Starlight Strand because I don't see the other two Gordos located on the pieces I've discovered so far. While my intentions were to go back home, I couldn't help myself and explored a bit more and made my way onto this island in the middle of the slime sea, which didn't have anything on it besides resources and a treasure sphere, at least from what I can tell. But hey, I'll take a treasure sphere, and look what I got. A golden tangle slime statue, and now I know for a fact that I will need those golden plorts to craft this. I went around collecting a few more resources and made my way back to the butterfly Gordo to feed it the nectar I collected. I did find a treasure sphere by the angler Gordo that I forgot to grab last time I fell down here. And while making my way back to the top, I also found another drone. This log from Gigi goes on to talk about how they grew fond of the tree where this drone is located. But as time went on, found themselves struggling between two branching paths as this tree represents, and how they really wanted to leave this island and make their way back home. I'm so interested in this storyline, and I'm so curious as to who this is. Also, I found one of the ringtail slimes. Look at this freaking little cutie. If I remember correctly, they turn into stone in the daytime, so you can only really find them at night. Nearby, I found some normal sized hunter slimes for the first time and collected some of their plorts because I think I may need them to open a door somewhere around here. There's too many doors. I have no idea where it was, but I know it's around here somewhere. There was yet another treasure sphere near the hunter slimes containing a useful power chip. I'll take it. Now I'm going back home. Hopefully my slimes are okay. They're probably starving by this point, which makes me slightly nervous. I placed all my resources in the refinery, fed and nurtured all my slimes, replenished their food supply, and sold all of their plorts. And surprisingly, there were quite a lot of plorts. So much so that I had to make multiple trips. Not that I'm complaining. With my new plort money, I unlocked the first expansion area on my farm, which is called the Goalie, which is this cute little beachy, rocky area. And now I have more room for more slimes, so I can finally go back and grab some of the new ones that have popped up on the two islands. I also upgraded my backpack with an extra tank, allowing me to carry one extra item, which will be super useful. In the newly unlocked Goalie area, I found a research drone. This time, Gigi was reminiscing about their past and initial thoughts they had about the fossils in this area, talking about how things changed drastically and trying to equate that to their personal life. This log sounds like they're probably a bit older when they wrote this compared to some of the other logs, which is interesting. I then set up a new corral in this area to prep my new batch of slimes and checked my mail. My first message was from Victor, providing me an update on the AI that's been communicating with him. He told us he's been talking back and forth with this alien AI, and it's been asking him a lot about himself, almost as if it's personally curious about his work and his life. He also told us that he sensed the AI was pretty lonely based on its responses, even though it's technically not alive. The next message was from the cheerful Ogden, who told me that while the Rainbow Island is gorgeous, it looks very unnatural to him, almost like a manufactured accident, and that the whole place made him feel uneasy. You know, that's not the news I want to hear when I'm stranded on this island all by myself. After receiving those uplifting and not at all concerning communications from my friends, I made my way back towards the portal to Starlight Strand. Of course, I got sidetracked on my way there and found a cliff with a tree at the top, and I realized I haven't been there yet with my jetpack and predicted a treasure sphere would be up top, and I was correct. Oh my god. My friends were right. This island is trying to kill me. Are you kidding me? Why are they spawning when I'm on the edge of the cliffs? I found 3 more treasure spheres, deposited the resources I found in the refinery link, and then finally made my way back to Starlight Strand. So when recording my gameplay, I would stop after each day went by as it's easier for me to edit. And well, I forgot to press record when playing through day 11. How fun. Anyways, to quickly break down what happened, I made my way to Starlight Strand and spent the whole day there. I found another Gordo, the Hunter Slime Gordo, which we will see again in just a bit. I also unlocked another part of the map, fed the butterfly largo a bit more nectar, resource hunted, and found some wild honey for the first time. I left off feeding the honey largo and have been gathering more fruit to finish him off, so that's what I did. Sorry guys, that was a noob move. Okay, now on to day 12. We're on our way back to the honey gordo to feed it more fruit, but it wasn't quite enough, so I went to gather more fruit from the surrounding area, and still not enough. I can tell he's about to explode though, and lucky me, there was a mint mango tree right next to the big guy, and I had just enough to pop him into a bunch of smaller honey slimes. Behind him was a tunnel that had yet another door that needed to be opened, and I didn't have a butterfly plort on me, so this tunnel didn't allow me to go anywhere at the moment. It did, however, contain a treasure sphere, so I'll take it. I gathered a few chickens to use as sacrifices to the Hunter Gordo. I then started to make my way back to the Butterfly Gordo, collecting nectar as I went, and found another treasure sphere near one of the flowers that contains that nectar, and it gave me an important item for upgrades. I also found the ringtail Gordo, who, just like the little guys, turns into stone in the daytime, so we'll have to come back when the sun goes down to see him in his full Gordo glory. I found this underground cavern close by that, can you guess, contained a treasure sphere, and then I made my way back to the fairy princess Gordo slime and fed her majesty the nectar that I collected. I gathered a few of the ringtail slimes once it was dark because I think I'm going to take these little guys back home with me to the ranch. And look at this. Look how cute he is when he is in a giant stone. I mean, let's be honest, he's pretty cute when he's in his stone form as well. I also gathered some of the flutter slimes to bring with me and headed back towards the portal. I placed my wild honey in the refinery and went around collecting a few plorts to gather a bit more money so I can fully upgrade 2 new corrals for my new slimes. I upgraded the corral I had in the goalie with high walls, an air net, and a solar shield, and placed my 4 ringtail slimes inside, hoping the solar shield would protect them from turning into stone. I then fed them each an angler plort, so now I have my newest largo slimes, and I must say, they look friggin' adorable. Next, I need to build another corral for my flutter slimes, so back I went to collect more plorts for more new bucks for more corral upgrades. After taking care of my slimes, I went back out for a bit before placing the butterfly slimes in their corral like I was about to do. I get sidetracked often, okay? Oh my god. What the heck? What the heck? It strikes the ground. Oh, it's happening again. A resource? The weather gives you resources? As you can tell, I was pretty amazed, and I spent some time waiting around for the lightning to strike again because I wanted those resources. It was honestly pretty fun, and part of me wanted to stand in the strike zone. Maybe I'll test that out another time, but yeah, I grabbed quite a few of the lightning motes from the lightning strikes, and also gathered a few wild chickens to kick off the process of the chicken uprising. It's a slow, meticulous process. Okay. I also must have missed this earlier, but I guess some lightning strikes produce different materials because I found storm glass on the ground. So many new things. I dropped off my new materials at the refinery link, gathered up my chickens, and made my way back home. I had a few messages waiting for me when I got back to the conservatory. First one from my good friend Victor, and he gave me a pinwheel. I feel like this This is a sick joke after that cyclone almost took me out. Thanks, Victor. Next from Mochi, and her message was quite interesting. She told us that the drones we've been finding on the island were hers. Well, they were from her dreams? She found these drones jotted down in some of her old journals about possible tech she could create one day, but the drones were too advanced to create with today's technology, and so someone stole her dream technology. She believes there may be data logs in each drone as well, and she's gonna get back to us on that. It's getting confusing and weird, but interesting nonetheless. Last message was from Thora, and she was thinking about taking another adventure with Hobson, and she was just expressing how excited she is to finally go on an adventure with him, which was really cute. I set up my first chicken coop and gently placed my little feathered friends inside. A few wandering chickens needed to be used as food for the largos nearby, which makes me feel like a monster, but I'm sure the chickens understand it's a necessary evil. Finally, let's place these flutter slimes. I upgraded the corral with high walls and an air net, placed those cuties inside, and without thinking about it, I fed them the hunter plorts. But the hunter slimes only eat meat, so now all I can feed them is meat. I also upgraded this corral with a plort collector because the hunter slimes are a bit aggressive. Finally, I upgraded my first coop with spring grass, allowing the chickens to age up a lot faster. Now that I'm broke again, I went around collecting more plorts to earn more new bucks, collected food for my slime babies' auto feeders, and wrangled up more of the loose chickens roaming around my farm to add to another new coop, this time a stony hen coop. My plan is slowly starting to come together. I purchased a music box for the corral containing the hunter slimes in hopes that it will calm them down so they aren't freaking out so much. I seriously don't want these guys to escape. I added a plort collector to the ringtail/angler slime corral and collected some of my new plorts for the first time, which gave me way more new bucks for the small amounts that I sold, as they were more valuable than the previous plorts, at least at the time of selling them. Next, I upgraded my stone head coop with high walls and spring grass to protect them and make them grow up faster. My first coop, I also added high walls and a vitamizer, which makes them reproduce faster. I'm so looking forward to these little guys becoming an absolute army. I dropped off some of my newer plorts in the refinery, restocked the auto feeders in my corrals, gotta make sure my plort production is on autopilot, and checked my mail. Been getting a lot of mail lately. Victor gifted me a blue home portal, matches the yellow one I haven't used yet. Ogden also gave me a gift, as did Bob. All we know about Bob is that Bob likes chickens. Cat, how do I give you to give me money? Why can I not remember? I may not have gotten anything from the lucky cat slime, but I did get some rare resources, so I'm happy. I dropped those resources off at the refinery link station and made my way back to Starlight Strand. I started gathering some chickens that I found to feed to some of the Gordos in this area. I made my way to the Hunter Gordo and had just enough food to make him pop, revealing a cave that, yes, held a treasure sphere, but also a future shortcut. Another door blocked that shortcut, but it's nice to know that I'm starting to reveal all the hidden paths on this island. While exploring a bit, I found another door higher up on the island, and it required a pink plort, and I happened to notice there were pink slimes directly below me, so I grabbed one to open the door, and as you can imagine, it led to another shortcut. I'm not mad about it though. Next task: collecting nectar for the butterfly Gordo. I spent a decent amount of time trying to gather as much nectar as possible and fed a few more chickens to the ringtail Gordo. Why feed him chickens when he eats anything? Well, it's because I had a surplus of chickens on hand, okay? Don't question it. I then made my way back to the adorable little flutter Gordo and fed her the nectar I collected, and she only needed 2, so I spent all that time collecting nectar for for nothing. Once she was no more, a large hole appeared, and so of course I jumped down, and I found another one of those mechanisms which opened up a doorway. I found a golden slime and got another golden plort, which is absolutely glorious. But this doorway just led to another shortcut. So instead, I went deeper down into the cavern and found some equipment as well as a drone. This log from Gigi talked about containing a breach, and inside of that breach was a large gray labyrinth. And they just seemed concerned about making sure that the door to this breach was shut because something happened that must have scared them. And of course, treasure sphere, this time containing another portal that I need to seriously craft. After leaving the cavern, I made my way back to the portal and headed home. I quickly dropped off my resources and my single golden plort, fed my flutter largos the extra nectar I had on hand. I also decided to release the hunter slimes I've had with me because I just don't need them right now. They'll be fine. I made sure all my slimes were fed and their auto feeders were full, deposited more plorts into the refinery, and headed back into the wilderness. And I thought we'd mix it up a bit and go explore Ember Valley, as we've yet to really explore like we have Starlight Strand. I made my way through the beach area to this temple structure where I found a drone nearby. This log from Gigi was talking about how they turned this place into a beautiful garden when they first discovered it. And while they were unsure of the purpose of these ruins, they hoped that these flowers would give these ruins a new, beautiful purpose. I then found this absolutely gorgeous looking water area with glowing flowers inside in a spiral pattern. I just love the scenery in this game. Near this area, I found a cave opening behind a waterfall that acted as a shortcut and led to the top of the waterfall where there were resources, more cute water slimes, and a treasure sphere. It contained a vac tank, which will allow me to upgrade to an extra slot on my vac pack, which is so useful. Continuing on, I found yet another treasure sphere inside a rock pillar and found another cave with a bunch of tars inside. I didn't mind though. I enjoy casting them into oblivion. Inside the cave were 2 slime statues that required boom plorts, so I'll have to remember to come back and do that. I kept making my way towards the cloudy areas on the map and found myself in this really cool looking lava area that contains some of the newer slimes and new resources. Even though it was the fire lava area, there were a good amount of lush plants and water scattered about. So much to explore. It's quite beautiful. I spent a bit of time carefully going around gathering lava dust, the newest resource, and found another treasure sphere near one of the resource areas. I then proceeded to find yet another treasure sphere. Today, it's all about treasure spheres. Near this area was a structure with a long stone bridge, so I decided to go and explore it. He'll be fine. And after trying to figure out the best way to get up to the top, I made it and found nothing. No treasure sphere. I believe this will be a portal later on or something important. It has to be, right? Well, back down I go to explore, and you're not going to believe it, guys. I immediately found a treasure sphere. What is this? My 5th spherical object containing treasure? And luckily, this ringtail slime didn't steal my prize away from me. I also found the map piece in this area, and this lava section is pretty big to say the least. From up top, I spotted another Gordo, this time the Boom Gordo, and unfortunately, I'll have to sacrifice more chickens to be rid of this dude, so I'll be back to feed him at a later time. I collected a few more crystal and bat plorts before leaving the area and making my way through a cave nearby, and wouldn't you know it, treasure sphere number 6 was spotted. My treasure sphere luck has yet to slow down. I then made the trek back towards the portal as I had quite a lot of resources that I needed to drop off. I used the refinery link to rid myself of the precious resources I just collected, including the plorts, and made my way back home to my precious little slimes. I had quite a few messages waiting for me. First from Victor, who updated us about the AI he's been talking to. He let us know they've been playing games back and forth, asking each other questions to test each other's intellect, and Victor told the AI that he needed to make himself a cup of coffee before playing another game, and the AI responded the same way, saying it also needed coffee. This led the AI to disconnect, as if it knew it shouldn't have said that. Very intriguing storyline, to say the least. Next message was from Mochi, who just gave us a blueprint. Ogden updated us on his research of Rainbow Island and told us there are absolutely no records of the flora on Rainbow Island, which made him believe this phenomenon was a recent occurrence. He still believes it was a man-made accident, but he'll keep digging for more information. Final message was from Thora, and she also just gave us a blueprint. I gathered some food from my gardens and went around taking care of my little slimes, refilling their feeders, you know, the basics. I also finally crafted 2 home portals, the yellow and blue ones, so I'll have to find a really convenient spot to place them to make travel between portals a little more convenient. Next, I checked up on my other slimes as well as the progress for my chicken uprising, and I'd say it's going pretty well. They're multiplying pretty fast and are quickly becoming a beast of an army, but unfortunately their time has not quite come because I still need to use them as a food source. I'm so sorry. Once the demon slimes were taken care of, I started gathering all their plorts and placed them in the refinery. I did the same thing for my more docile slimes, placing half of their plorts in the refinery for crafting purposes and selling the rest for sweet, sweet cash. When I had enough resources and money, I went down below and upgraded my backpack with another tank booster, allowing up to 40 units of the same item to be collected, which is so useful. Now that my slimes are taken care of, let's go back to Ember Valley. Right when we arrived, a new weather alert was displayed called Vine Tangle. Kind of strange, but because of the wording used, I'm going to assume this is related to the Tangle slimes, which I'd love to be able to grab one. And I didn't even have to walk very far until one of those cuties actually popped out of the vines, so I was right. I made sure to grab him since he seems harder to come by compared to the other slimes, but seeing his little face made me happy. Until I realized that they eat chickens. Then I felt indifferent. I found a treasure sphere near the beach area and basically just hopped around collecting more resources, hoping to find more treasure spheres along the way. I also collected some puddle plorts, as I've yet to do that. I'll be sure to grab these cuties once I unlock the beach area on my farm. The treasure spheres just kept coming. I've found so many in Ember Valley, way easier than I've ever have on Starlight Strand or Rainbow Island. I located my next Gordo inside a cave, the Bat Gordo. Such a freaking cutie. After spending a decent amount of time trying to find the rare diamond resource and coming up empty-handed, I made my way back to the portal. I quickly dropped off my resources and puddle plorts at the refinery link, so incredibly handy, and decided to resource hunt a bit on Rainbow Island because I haven't done that in a while. I found a treasure sphere hidden up top in some rocks, and after grabbing a pathetic amount of jellystone, I made my way back home and checked my messages. Victor sent me a blueprint for ribbon streamers, and Thora told me that her and Hobson have decided that their next adventure would be to try and have a baby. Now, they are both a bit older, it seems, but who am I to judge? I think it's sweet, and I love Thora, so I'm rooting for her. After feeding and taking care of my own children, my slimy, colorful, bouncing, monstrous children, I upgraded my angler Largo corral with an auto feeder, as they can eat just about anything, so that's one less slime I'll have to worry about when I'm away on my adventures. I then built and upgraded yet another corral to place my single little Tangle slime. Isn't he adorable? Besides the fact that he's carnivorous. I dropped off my Jellystone, cashed in more plorts, and had enough new bucks to purchase the expansion plot by the goalie called the Tide Pools. And this area is so cute and has the perfect spot for those cute little water slimes, as it has tide pools I can place them in. So perfect. After exploring that space a little bit, I went and checked my mail. Victor gifted me another blueprint, as did Ogden and the mysterious Bob. Now that I have even more room for more slimes, I wanted to go and pick up a few new ones that I've yet to add to my farm. So let's go through the portal to Ember Valley and immediately back out because I decided to collect the chickens hanging around outside the portal to feed to the Largos. It has to be done eventually, guys. Okay, now back to Ember Valley, where I went around collecting even more chickens and making my way up to my darling puddle slimes. Absolute angels. I love these little guys, as I've said before, but I mean, how can you not? They mind their business, they're so chill, they make the cutest little sounds, and they don't eat chickens. I also found a new fruit, the prickle pear, and finally found a strange diamond. Oh, I was so happy. And right around the corner was another one. What luck. I started making my way towards the Boom Gordo, picking up more chickens along the way, and started offering him the chickens. And sadly, it wasn't enough. So I went around looking for more. I also found a new chicken type, the Briar Hen, another adorable ball of fluff. While looking around for more chickens and hens, I found yet another diamond. Maybe I'm just getting lucky and they are spawning in all the caves today. I made my way back to the Boom Largo with 10 additional chickens, and unfortunately it still wasn't enough to satisfy the big guy. So I figured I'd just go drop off my diamonds and my water slimes first and come back with more chickens for the Boom Gordo later on. I almost just lost all my diamonds. My heart is beating so fast. I immediately placed my diamonds in the refinery link because I don't want to take any more chances. And if I lost my diamonds, I'd cry a lot. Once I got back to the conservatory, I let my new hens roam free and made my way to the tide pool areas to place my water slimes in the 2 tide pools. So freaking cute. Look at their little faces. I also built another garden to plant my prickly pears. I think I've just about grown everything in the game, probably missing a few, but the more variety I can have, the better. I upgraded my Tangle Slimes corral with a port collector, grabbed a few chickadoos, fed a few to my slimes, fed some fruit to my other slimes, craft a refinery link because they're so handy, and headed back to Ember Valley. I had a good amount of fruit for the Bat Gordo and 2 dozen chickens for the Boom Gordo, and that better be enough for him. I first decided to visit the cute Bat Gordo and feed him all the fruit on my person, but it wasn't enough. I could tell that he was just about ready to pop, so I looked around for some more fruit in the cave and found a new fruit, pomegranate. Love the pun. I grabbed a few of the adorable fire slimes, a close relative to the cute water slimes, and a few of the boom slimes, and finished feeding the Bat Gordo, grabbing a few of the normal sized batty slimes afterwards. Behind the Bat Gordo was just a shortcut leading to an area deeper within the lava section. Next order of business was finishing off Mr. Boom, and thankfully I was able to do that. Behind the Gordo slime was another research cave area. Immediately I noticed 2 treasure spheres, one which spit out a strange diamond, honestly the best thing I could have been gifted. The second treasure sphere contained another portal. Ah yes, the portals I've yet to use. I also spotted another drone containing more lore. This log from Gigi was interesting. They stated that a gate in this area needed to be sealed because it was dangerous, and they contacted engineers to help them do just that, but soon realized that they weren't engineers, but people who saw opportunity and riches instead. And because of that, something bad seems to have happened shortly after. I feel bad for Gigi, and I am just so curious as to who this person is. Well, after finding that depressing message, I collected a bit of lava dust and decided that I really should place down a portal because they are really useful and I haven't made use of them at all. I picked this spot because I felt it was a good halfway area. To the left is the lava section and to the right is the grass and beachy section. Pretty convenient spot. I also placed a refinery link right next to it as I should make use of this convenient item as well. The portal only works one way, but I still appreciate having a shortcut available for my home. Back home, I checked my mail and we received a message from Mochi. She gave me a blueprint for an archive key that should work with the drones we've been finding. In theory, it should be able to access any archives found in the drones, which would contain more information for us. Mochi is already freaked out about all this, but she secretly really likes us and wants to be besties, so she seems happy to help us out. I dropped off my resources, cashed in a few plorts for extra new bucks, and set up an upgraded corral with a solar shield for my baddie slimes, fed them for their plorts, then fed those plorts to the boom slimes I gathered, and now I have a new Largo slime. Honestly, I think this slime combo is quite cute. I gathered the water plorts from my favorite slime babies and let my bats fly free off into the beautiful rising sun. Next, I needed to build an area for my fire slimes, and they can't be placed in a normal corral. Instead, they tend to favor the incinerators with an ash trough so they can munch on the charred remains of whatever I toss into the incinerator. Kinda cute. I had to sell a few more plorts in order to afford one, so that's what I did. It took me a minute to realize I had to upgrade the incinerator with an ash trough, but once I figured it out, I placed those cuties inside. I wish I could add a plort collector to the incinerator to make things easier, but I'm so happy I have both the fire and water slimes on my farm now. They are the absolute best, and you can't convince me otherwise. I added a few of my newer plorts to the refinery, went around refilling all of the auto feeders, and cashed in a few more plorts for more new bucks. I also received another message, this time from Ogden, who was providing an update on his thoughts about this strange island. He was just chit-chatting about the ruins and how they seemed unnatural, but also that they respected the nature they were built around. I don't know, I think he just wanted to talk. I heard a drone above the entrance to the gully, so I found my way up top and found yet another log from Gigi. They wrote that they had the drones rebuild the conservatory to its former glory. So now we know that the drones can actually do more than just sit here looking cute holding data logs. They went on to say that they know things will never be how they were, but they were glad to be home again. Every log we find just adds more questions to this mysterious story, but it's been really fun to try and piece everything together. I went downstairs to go and create that drone archive key that Mochi sent me, but I didn't have enough materials to do that quite yet, so that was my next mission: grab more fire plorts and jellystones. I went around Rainbow Island collecting jellystones and other resources, and it took a while because I was having some difficulty locating the jellystone resources on the island. I don't know why, but they were just hard to spot for some reason. I did find another treasure sphere in the process though. After grabbing a decent amount of jellystone, wish it was more, I wrangled up some fire plorts and made my way back downstairs to craft the archive key. So let's go ahead and test it out on a drone. So I decided to use the key on the very first drone we discovered, and the archive log was kind of cute. It was Gigi talking about how amazing this island was, especially the rainbow colored grass, and they just seemed really excited to be here. I'm sure some archived logs will be a bit more serious in nature, but this is just too precious. I also used the archive key on the drone above the gully entrance. This archive was a bit more depressing. Gigi stated that they got the idea for this conservatory from a book they had as a child, and and that they loved that it made you feel both inside and outside at the same time. They then spoke about how they wish they had a similar experience to this conservatory at home, and if they did, perhaps they wouldn't have had to run off all the time and instead could have spent more time with them, which I'm assuming are their parents. That's what it sounds like to me anyways. Alright, third drone, this one inside of the goalie. This one was pretty funny. I'd leave messages like this inside of drones just to frustrate people looking for answers. We'll keep inspecting the drones as we come across them again. I also received a new message. It was from Mochi, who just sent me a blueprint. I honestly was hoping for more story progression, but the blueprints are also pretty cool. Okay, let's change it up a bit and go back to Starlight Strand as we still have 2 more Gordos left to destroy. I started gathering some chickens, fruits, and veggies and made my way towards my first Gordo, which will be the Angler Gordo. I found a previously found drone on the way there and checked out the archive info. Another funny entry. Gigi was pepping themselves up, saying they earned these cookies and was feeling pretty good, but a ringtail slime statue turned back to normal after the sun went down and stole their cookies. I found my way to the Angler Gordo and fed him all the chickens I picked up, and unfortunately it wasn't enough, so I went around looking for more. Still not enough. So yet again, I went looking for more chickens and hens, and the dude is still not satisfied. While on my chicken hunt, I ran into the ringtail Gordo and fed him all the fruits and veggies I had, and thankfully it was enough. When he disappeared, a new portal showed up, which intrigued me, but it just took me back to Rainbow Island. So I suppose this is just another portal leading to and from my home island. But cool to know I now have 2 ways to get to Starlight Strand. Since I was back home, I decided to check up on everything, feed my slimes, cash in some more plorts, you know the routine. I added a few rock plorts to the refinery so that I could finally upgrade my backpack with another tank, so I'll have 6 slots instead of 5. Eat my fire babies. Ugh, they're so cute. After selling a few more hard-earned plorts, I purchased another expansion plot on the farm called the Archway, and it's really cool. It's surrounded by a lot of ruins and archways. It's very unique and weirdly peaceful. And while I was at it, I figured I'd go ahead and purchase the last expansion area, which is called the Den. This area is inside a dark cave, so it would be perfect for all of my nighttime slimes. I did find a drone on top of some of the mushrooms, so I made my way up there to see what it had to say. Gigi was talking about how much they love mushrooms and how they used to sneak off into the forest when they were young with their grandma's suitcase to collect them. But Gigi's mom got upset at them, but they believed it was because that suitcase was more important to their mom than they initially believed. The archive data was just Gigi telling a joke and saying they believed their dad would have found that funny. So we got some more interesting insights into their childhood. I set up a single corral to prepare for future slimes and checked my mail. Thora sent me a blueprint for a Gordo snare, and Bob sent me a blueprint for some rocks. I wish I could have an intelligent conversation with Bob. I grabbed a few chickens to take back with me to hopefully appease the Angler Gordo, and just as I was about to leave, I received more messages. I never realized how popular I was. Victor sent me a gift, and Thora updated us on her baby journey. She was expressing her frustration assembling baby furniture, but also was super sweet and said that without us in her life, she wouldn't have realized that they wanted a kid and that she's super thankful we are a part of her lives. Aw, Thora, she's such an absolute sweetheart. She also asked why we didn't use the ancient device in the glass desert, which is a location from the first game, to travel around the universe, and we informed her that it was broken when we found it, but that it should have been working since Hobson left it operational. Another mystery to be solved, I suppose. Alright, now we can go back to the Angler Gordo, and I'm going to use the new portal to get there this time. A nice convenient shortcut. After one final feeding, he seemed to have had enough and ceased to exist. Thank God. All that work, and what do I get in return? A freaking geyser. That's it? I was slightly disappointed, not gonna lie. What made my disappointment less painful was that I found another golden slime shortly after and got another golden plort. It helped to numb the pain. I gathered resources for quite some time, headed back through the portal, and let the surviving chickens roam free since they won the chicken lottery and weren't devoured by a slime. Never mind. Once I arrived back home, I checked my messages and received gifts from both Victor and Ogden. I dropped off my resources and felt the need to sleep. I don't know why. Perhaps it's because I've been awake for like 20 days without sleep. I know it's not necessary, but I like to use the features every now and then. Let's start off this new day by feeding my slimes who look rather hungry and checking up on my chickens. Your day will come, my feathered friends. I added an auto feeder to my Batty Boom Largo's corral and made more plort money. I also noticed that the chickens were breeding inside of the Tangle Slime corral, which is a great way to ensure he won't go hungry. But at the same time, it's unethical to put a child through this type of emotional torture. So I freed the chickadoos from the predator that's circled them since their birth. Sorry, everyone else stays. Why is this making me sad? Absolute monsters. Back out I go, and I decided to head back to Ember Valley because I still need to grab some crystal slimes. I found another drone to use the archive key on. Super cute. I also picked up an odd onion. I must have missed this little guy when I was exploring previously, as well as a heartbeat, both of which I still need to grow on my farm. I gathered some resources and a few crystal slimes around the lava section. I then decided to once again explore the ruins nearby to see if I could find something new, perhaps something I missed. I did find a new research drone though. This log from Gigi was going over their hypothesis about the Prisma waves on the island causing the lava to erupt to the surface in this area, and talking about how everything coexists well enough, but the heat from the lava is not their cup of tea. The archive data was Gigi talking about being lost in thought, looking at all the foliage in the area, and a geyser shot them into the air, almost making them land in a pit of lava, and they expressed that they may have taken on too much being on this island, not wanting to be alone. That's kind of sad. I just have this feeling that Gigi is a girl, and I feel this person has some relation to Mochi. In what way? I don't know. I could be wrong, but again, that's the feeling I'm getting from these logs thus far. I dropped off my resources at the refinery link I placed down previously. It's so freaking handy, and inside the cave nearby, I accessed another drone. So this log from Gigi talked about how they feel at home inside of these caves because they used to seek shelter in them quite often when visiting the glass desert, and it makes them feel safe and secure. The archive log kind of said the opposite, which was interesting. They stated that caves have always given them the creeps and made them feel trapped, and they prefer being outside in nature. So yeah, a bit of conflicting feelings going on here. After gathering a few more resources, I made my way back home through my handy portal and had some mail waiting for me when I arrived. It was from good old Bob. Thanks, Bob. I placed my crystal slimes in with the Tangle slimes, fed them 2 Tangle plorts, collected a crystal plort, fed it to the Tangle slime, rinse and repeated these steps for 2 more crystal slimes, and bada boom. I have some new hybrid monsters. At least now they won't have to only eat chickens because the crystal slimes eat veggies. I upgraded the corral with an auto feeder and a music box because they seem a bit rowdy. I planted 2 gardens around the tide pools and planted the heartbeats and the odd onions. Goodbye, buddy. He'll be fine. I then decided to upgrade 5 of my garden plots with nutrient soil and sprinklers so that they produce more fruits and veggies faster. That way I can have more food in the auto feeders and I won't have to refill them as often. After cashing in a few plorts to earn those sweet, sweet new bucks, I checked my mail and got another gift from Mochi, and she gifted me a mushroom. One of the logs said Gigi loved mushrooms. Maybe I'm looking into this too much, but I swear I'm onto something here. It just can't be that someone stole her dream technology. It has to have a more direct connection with her. After that gift from Mochi, I decided to go resource hunting, especially for more jellystone, since I need that for a few more upgrades. While resource hunting, I happened to find another Tangle slime. Not sure what I'm gonna do with him quite yet, but I felt like I had to grab him. I also found another treasure sphere on top of a large rocky mountain, so that was nice. I don't know why it's so hard for me to locate the jellystone resources on this island. I guess I just forget that they can also be found inside the caves, and I end up just looking for them outside on top of the rocks, which just led me to feeling frustrated. A second Tangle slime was found and swooped up, and after roaming around for almost the entire day, I came home with a full tank of deep brine and a less than desired amount of jellystone. I did not use my time wisely at all. I dropped off my resources and upgraded my backpack's power core, allowing me to have 200 energy instead of 150, which will be very helpful when flying around on the jetpack. I also was pleasantly surprised by how much produce my gardens had grown while I was away. So helpful to have larger quantities of everything. I went around refilling my slime's auto feeders and got a new weather alert. Slimefall. I don't know if this will affect my slimes and turn them into tars, but I seriously hope not. I upgraded my gardens near the tide pools to double the amount of produce they grow, fed my precious fire slimes. It's cute that they thrive off of destruction, and went around collecting all of my glorious plorts to sell for some more money. For now, I decided to place my Tangle slimes in the cave area of my farm in the corral I pre-built a while back. I'll come back and figure out what kind of hybrid I want to create with them in a little bit. That sounds so messed up. After ensuring that all my slimes were well fed and happy, I saw that I had a message from Thora, who sent me some ambergrass. Thanks, Thora. After receiving that exciting gift, I made my way back to the Ember Valley portal and started making my way to the area of the map that has yet to be uncovered, realizing I haven't explored this place at all, which was quite shocking. Once I reached this section of the map, it turned out to be a cliffy waterfall area where I spotted yet another Gordo, this time the Crystal Gordo. I looked around the nearby cliffs for any veggies I could feed her, and in the process, I spotted another treasure sphere. I'll take it. I also found another diamond. Again, I'll take it. And I left this area to go hunting for food to feed the Crystal Gordo and noticed it was quite windy, which led to a wonderful surprise. Oh! Oh, wait! Oh my god, yes! Finally, I got one! Oh, look at his little face. I finally got something worthwhile from the cyclone instead of it trying to throw me off of a cliff. Since I was near the portal, I decided to go back home really quick to grab some veggies from my farm to feed Her Majesty the Crystal. I made my way back to her post and fed her a copious amount of veggies until she was forced off her throne, revealing a geyser which shot me up to the top of these cliffs. Up top, I found the last segment for this area and yet another Gordo. They just keep popping up right when I think I'm done. This time, we got a tabby Gordo hanging out on the edge of a cliff in the middle of the slime sea, and another drone was sitting near him. This time, Gigi was talking about how they were hoping to prove themselves when they left the ranch, showing their parents that this was the right choice and hoping they would forgive them for not carrying on their legacy. But before they left, Gigi heard they sold the ranch branch and couldn't face them and left without saying goodbye, which they regret. The archive log was Gigi talking about how even though there are tons of things on this island to distract them, they still think about their parents and miss them, hoping that one day they'll let Gigi know they are proud of them. All right, now to deal with this cat, and of course the tabby eats meat. So back I went to grab some chickens, but on the way I found a new material, drift crystals. Apparently the cyclones also drop resources, which is nice to know. After looking around for a bit, I figured it would just be easier to go back home and grab a bunch of chickens to feed the little monster all at once. So yes, unfortunately, this will put a small dent in my chicken uprising plans, but that's okay. It needs to be done. I found another gold slime on my way to the conservatory. It's always a good day when I earn a gold plort. I had a few messages when I got back, and they were all gifts. I'm just that popular. Into the refinery goes the golden plort, and let's head on over to the den, feed my tangle slimes that I kind of forgot about, and create a new corral for our new dervish slime. He's like a little dancing Saturn. I love it. Let's grab a good amount of chickens to take with us. Sorry guys. And let's also quickly go around feeding our slimes. I need to make sure that plort production is optimal at all times. I placed some fire and boom plorts in the refinery as well, allowing me to upgrade my dash boots 2 times, which allows me to sprint faster for longer periods of time. I checked my mail once again, and can you guess what I received? Yes, another gift. I really should start using these teleporters more often than I do. I made my way back to the giant tabby and stuffed him full of chicken. And I was surprised to see he took less chickens than I thought. Maybe the stony hens are the tabby's favorite, and that's why. He revealed a new portal, which is exciting, and I'm hoping it goes to the next area that I've yet to discover, which I think is off in the distance. But I got distracted by the chickens jumping to their demise and almost fell into the slime ocean with them. Yeah, so that was fun. But let's go ahead and check out this portal. And yeah, it's just a secondary shortcut back home. I was hoping it would lead me to the winter area, but now we have a second way to get to Ember Valley. I found another tangle slime near this portal, which I vacuumed up and headed on home. From there, I went around collecting more plorts, adding quite a few to the refinery, trying to prep for future crafting. For the dervishes corral, I added a plort collector and an auto feeder, and I'm feeling pretty bad for the little guy. He looks quite lonely. I also placed my new tangle buddy in with the other 2, also adding a plort collector to their corral. After making a few more plort deposits in the refinery, I checked my messages and got one from my dear friend Bob, who I just now noticed switches out slimes. I remember the top slime in his coat was a pink slime. Now it's a rock slime. Is that important? Maybe, maybe not. Perhaps I'm looking too deep into something that just isn't there. Who really are you, Bob? I went around refilling all the auto feeders, saying hi to my adorable little money-making machines, and made one last round collecting plorts, this time to sell. And well, almost every plort seemed to be up in value on the plort market today, so I made quite a bit of money. I'm ranking in those new bucks. After that was done, I checked my mail again and got more gifts. Again, I'm utterly spoiled by my friends. But yeah, guys, we have completed 1 month in Slime Rancher 2, and I had an absolute blast playing this game. It's so much fun and absolutely adorable. If you'd like to see me play another month, let me know down in the comments. Oh, and also tell me who your favorite slime is so far. The answer to that question should be the water or the fire slimes, because again, they're the best. But if it's someone different, still let me know. I still have so much left I want to do. We have yet to find the winter area. I haven't even begun decorating. I want to reorganize my layout and, of course, initiate sequence 2 of my chicken uprising. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next video.